Yo, what's
Hi.
up? What's good here?
JP,
What's
JP.
happening? Welcome back.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
All right.
It is I.
Obviously, I'm wild. Jeez, goodness gracious me.
Yeah,
Eh?
no shame.
I'm one of
kids.
my chair, my new chairs.
Listen,
You hear me?
listen.
Just for you.
New guest,
Huh?
new chair,
Come now.
new settings, new vibes.
You know what I'm saying? No, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying.
No, fun times. Fun.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah,
Hey, welcome to the
Welcome to the Middle of Podcast. This is a podcast about the journey of life, the highs, the lows, the downs, the ups, the in-between, literally everything and a little more. My name is Marco Mborero, and if you're looking for me on social media, at Marco_Cads, and for the podcast, tmiddleopodast on Instagram. Yeah, guys, welcome to the Middle of Podcast. If you'd like to check out some episodes we've done in the past, just click on the link over there. And yeah, today we've got a really, I know how these intros go, because people always like, you always say you've got interesting guests, because the guest is great, guys. The guest is great. I think we sort of spoke about recording together a little while ago.
Yeah.
And it's happening today.
We are here.
Yeah, I saw like on WhatsApp status. I know WhatsApp was down a little while ago, but I saw on WhatsApp before it went down, and I was like, I saw this guy Kumusha, which is like sort of your rural area, and I was like, this guy's Kumusha. That only means this in Zimbabwe. Let's go. Let's do the thing.
Yeah.
And today we've got Godfrey with us.
Hi.
What's happening?
Davey.
What did he say?
What's up?
What's good?
Hello.
What's happening? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
No. Yo, man. Thanks for inviting me, bro.
shout out,
I was
bro.
very excited and happy when you buzzed me. You're like, my guy.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I like things, guys. And I'm unapologetic about that, especially if it's edifying, exciting, good. And yeah, I'm really excited to be here, to be with you guys, and have a good, solid conversation.
Yeah, man.
So-
I mean, if you guys check out his Facebook, you'll just see that one of the things that he's put on as what he does is he says he's a liker of things, right? Then he puts a comment and says godly things. And I laughed so hard because I was like, there's a difference between just like regular things and then there's like the liking of other things. And he's like, no, you gotta know what type of things it is.
You gotta be specific and particular and exact about these
because
things.
then, what else you get lost, you know?
Get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, because the sauce, guys.
Yeah,
you
no,
know.
for real. Like I am a
Yeah.
liker of things, man.
Yeah.
I'm a very creative person, very
Yeah.
expressive person. I really engage what I believe is something that will edify me, bless me, something that I can present to the world that will bless and edify people.
Yeah.
And it's led me to very interesting spaces, doing very interesting things.
Yeah.
And I just came to terms with it that I like things, godly things,
Specifically.
just to be specific.
Yeah.
You know, finding myself as a as a musician, recording artist,
Yo way.
content
Yo
creator,
way.
content curator,
Yo way.
brand strategist.
Sorry. While you're telling us, what is the difference between a content creator and content curator?
So as far as I
We're saying
understand
content,
it,
eh?
yeah, I mean, you're dealing with content, but when
Yeah.
you're creating it, you are producing it, you are
Yeah.
conceptualizing it, you
Yeah.
are ideating, right? So and then you actually, it manifests as
Yeah.
content. Then when you're curating it, it's more of managing it, organizing it, collating it, and then
Yeah.
presenting it to the world
Yeah.
for various reasons. So you can curate content for marketing purposes, for entertainment purposes, for ministry purposes, which I particularly like.
Come now.
You
Yes.
can, yeah,
Yes. Amen. Somebody.
hallelujah.
Ooh.
Come on, somebody. Yeah, so you can curate content for various reasons.
Yeah.
So, even for entertainment, leisure, etc.
And the likes, yeah.
Yeah,
I get you,
education
I get you.
purposes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so when I say I'm a content curator and creator, they definitely serve and fulfill different roles. Yeah, so that's also who I am. I'm also a fellow podcaster.
Come now.
Yeah. If given the opportunity, I'll plug my podcast. But we'll get there. We'll get there. I want to
Wait till the end.
yeah,
if you'd
yeah.
like to know
I
what
thought
the
about like,
podcast
should I
is.
shameless plug now? I was like, no, let me wait.
I'm a
Let me-
shameless plug personally, but I usually like wait. I'm like, let's see.
Yeah,
if we're
no, no.
gonna.
So we'll talk about my podcast later. But
we
yeah,
definitely will, yeah.
as long as I can express myself,
Yeah.
as long as I can share goodness, you'll
Yeah.
find me there,
Okay.
inside,
Within. Among us.
in the midst.
Yeah. In the middle of. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I see what you did there.
No, that's pretty cool though. And given that you sort of involved in a lot of different things, specifically media related and stuff.
Yeah.
Outside of media,
Yeah.
who would you say you are?
I am a very passionate and charismatic person. I also think I'm simple
Okay.
and particular.
Okay.
Um,
Simple, particular, charismatic. They seem like they're very different yet.
well, yeah, I mean, I think I've really connected with who I am as a multifaceted person. In different spaces, the different spaces I found myself in. So outside media, I really do like keeping things simple. I mean, I always use this analogy to define what simplicity looks like. If we say life is simple, but it's difficult to
explain that.
to experience it.
Yeah.
Right? When I say driving is simple, but it's difficult to experience.
Yeah.
If you think of it like, I mean, with driving, if you want to move forward, you accelerate. If you want to stop, you brake.
Yeah.
If you have a manual car, you have a clutch to
Clutch.
change the gears.
Yeah.
If you have an automatic, great, let's go.
Yeah.
It's simple. But in the light of you being on a road that has potholes, terrible signs,
If there are signs.
bad drivers, I mean,
Road markings.
road markings.
Yeah.
So it becomes difficult, even though it's a very simple process. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think outside media, I value the simple things about life. I value the simple things about relationships. I'm big on relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, we're here
Yeah.
because of relationship,
You know what I'm saying?
right?
You know what
Our
I'm saying?
friendship, our brotherhood.
Yeah.
So I really invest in relationships outside media. I enjoy my time with friends, family. I'm big on community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just talking about like relationships, as you said just now, I think there's this group called Love on a Weekday.
The LOAW community.
The LOAW guys.
Shut up.
What's good? What's happening, guys? But even with LOAW, I mean, I personally heard of it because of a friend who was like, "Hey, there's this really cool community. You might really enjoy it." Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, "Okay, cool. Let's hear about it." You know? And I joined. It's been pretty interesting, and that sort of I would definitely agree that sort of speaks to you and your love for people and relationships.
Yeah.
And what sort of drove you to start LOAW? For those who don't know, LOAW is it's in the name, sort of love on a weekday or love on a Wednesday, particularly.
Yeah.
It's from my own experience, it's just been a matter of sharing, obviously, like your love for each other as people and as humans, but also trying to understand relationships better.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is not predominant, but a lot of it is sort of like romantic sort of relationships and how to figure those out as Christians and working through that. But not just romantic, also friendships and families and the like.
Yeah.
And so what sort of drove you? Obviously, you said you've got a love for people, but what for you was like, hey, it would be good to talk to other people in our sort of late teens and 20s about relationships.
Yeah.
Like when the world's
So-
like, hey, let's talk.
Let's did it.
Yeah. Zoom meetings and everything, you know?
Yeah. So I think first of all, I got it from my mama. Yeah. This knack for people, this desire to connect with people, and really invest in relationships. I really get it from my mom. She is big on relationships. We've grown up in that kind of environment where people are coming in and out of the house either as visitors, extended family, adopted family. So I've always grown up around people, even just friendships, sleepovers, play dates. You know, so I've always been around people. I've always been. I think I also live out my name. Side note, I think I also live out my name. Tafadzwa is my second name, and it's
Taffy.
Taffy. You know, it's Tafadzwa. Kufara. You've been happy. You get this radiant, expressive, extroverted energy about you, right? This, you know, light, right? And so, yeah, connecting with people, it's almost second nature for me. And I've seen it that, you know, in the wake of, or dimness even, of, or in the light of, or dimness of the lockdown in 2020, this was March, end of March. You know, the president is like, yo.
Hey guys, so no one's going to work, to school, we're all going to stay home and just
excuse me, excuse me. Lockdown things.
My friend called those family meetings when he made the announcements. Like,
right?
oh, time for a family meeting.
So that happened, lockdown, and I'm thinking to myself, shucks, I'm a social person. I love connecting with people. Now I'm bound in this house. But I still want to connect with people. And so fortunately, the week of LOAW starting, I was at my friend's, so one of my closest friends, the three of us, we're like triplets, Simba, Prince, and I. We were at Simba's place. So we're like, guys, shucks, this lockdown started, what must for the toucan happen?
Because clearly, thanks.
We are expressive people, we are big on community, we want to stay connected. We want to stay connected. We want to stay connected to our generation, the youth. How can we go about it? And just then, Zoom was starting to buzz, right?
I didn't even know about Zoom. That was like the wildest thing ever for me, because I was like, I knew Skype, but I hadn't used Skype in forever because it was like WhatsApp video or whatever, and FaceTime.
When we were deliberating on which platform to use, because like, okay, we need a virtual platform where we can connect with people. And I was like, Skype, it's not even a question.
No,
We're not, no, guys.
I feel sorry for them because they really missed out on the reason they were created. Because I think they just sort of slept. And at some point they missed something. And they're like,
they were on some Nokia tip.
No, literally.
You know what I'm saying?
You're the creators, and then you sort of follow through.
So that happened, and it was like, okay, there's Zoom. This was on a Monday, bro. And so, I mean, prior to LOAW happening, I had, when I was a lot more consistent with it, a series called Mazirudo Monday, which celebrates love in all forms, right? In all forms of relationships as well. Friendship, family, romance, professional.
Pets.
Right.
Dogs, cats.
I'm not a fan of pets, if I can just say that. And let me say this with all the respect in the world. You look cute, but don't come near me. Kind of vibes.
I actually got hurt yesterday because my dogs are, like, our dogs are, they're not like huge, they're not huge, they're not bauble size, but they're big dogs as well. They're like crossbreeds of golden retrievers, and we're not sure the other part because they're from the SPCA. They're pretty big. And so like the gate opens, and I was about to reverse out, and I just see this, there are two of them, and I just see the one, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? And I run out, and I look, and I see this guy is walking his two dogs, like two little Jack Russells, and I'm like, these things are gonna get out. I literally had to like run after, and then the other one followed behind. So there I was, fighting our own two dogs, telling them stop, go away. He had two other little dogs, and they're so scared, and this guy with the leash, and I'm like, first of all, they could kill these puppies, they could bite this next man, and we're in the road, and there was another lady who was taking a walk, it was in the morning, and she's hiding behind a telephone pole. It's so funny though, because I was like, dude, like, we can all see you there, bro. They can be, but they're quite friendly for the most part.
It's just a preference. Like I said, I mean, I've seen well-kept, beautiful dogs.
And you're like, good for you.
Good for you. Just don't come near me. Don't put your paws on me. Don't lick me. You know what I mean? I mean, if I had to, I can take it. What is it? I've pet sat. Or, like pet sitting. There's babysitting.
Please take care of my cat for
Yeah,
the day.
I
or
can
2
do
days
it. I can did it. Others
but not,
did it.
not for life.
Nah.
Nah, I
If
get
I had a
you.
yeah, so
So, but yeah,
yeah.
that was part of why
yeah,
you were.
yeah. So it was one of
That's
those.
really
That, we took a side note, a
No, we really
tangent.
did.
Yeah.
Ah.
No, so it came out of necessity where, hey guys, we need to stay connected. So Zoom came about, and we're like, shucks, this was on a Monday. That's where the tangent happened when you mentioned when I was saying the relationship forms, and you're like, yeah. So Mazirudo Monday, which if you don't understand Shona, it's like love overload.
Yeah, it's
right?
a big love in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
So there it was like I just done an Instagram session, and so afterwards we're talking about the session. I was like, guys, we need to stay connected. That's when like, hey, wait, Wednesday's coming up. Let's do.
It was almost like a spontaneous.
It was
thing that
very
became
spontaneous.
long-term in a
Yeah,
way.
it was spontaneous. Like we need to stay connected to young people, talk about relationships and love, and I think we need it, right? It's part of fellowship and everything. Cool. So Wednesday came about. We actually put out notice on Tuesday afternoon, guys. We started posting on our statuses, guys. We're linking on Zoom, and for us, it was literally, hey, we can just do an hour. I think an hour is enough.
Yeah.
Dandy.
Yeah.
Let's dance on Zoom. Cool. What will we talk about? Hey, bro, it's just hanging out, right?
Yeah,
On
yeah.
Zoom. Dandy.
Yeah.
9 p.m. CAT. Isn't that too late, my guy? People sleep at 2 a.m. Like, let's just do
Yeah.
it. It'll be just an hour.
Yeah.
So that happened. People started logging in. We had like 18 people that logged in on the first day. 12 or 18, one of the two. I know that's a bit of a difference, but it's not too
But
much.
yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah, but 12 or 18 people on the first day.
It's quite a
Did
lot.
we not go on until 2 a.m. the next day?
To be fair though, during like lockdown, people were like staying up for like I won't lie. I think during lockdown there was a series of days where I was sleeping like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And the reason that I would go to bed was because I knew I needed to sleep, and once I see the sun is up, I can't go back to sleep. And I was in Malaysia at the time during lockdown.
Yeah.
So the sun, like clockwork, comes up at, and it's not like, in Zim or like in Southern Africa in general, when the sun rises, like in this end of the world, it's literally one of those where it will start at like 5:30, it gets lighter, until the sun is up at like 6:30.
Yeah.
Or it starts at 5, so it's about an hour and a half of sunrise.
Yeah.
In Malaysia, it's literally 10 minutes of sunrise. So if it's 6:40 to 6:50, you know that at 6:40 it's pitch black. At 6:50, the sun is over there. So for me, I was like, okay, 6:30, I need to be out.
Yeah.
Because if I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping. But yeah, I get that.
Yeah. No,
And
so-
I think it's dope that your community sort of just took off like that.
I think one of my favorite things. So I mean, it definitely. So there was a purpose that it was serving, connecting young people, fellowship, speaking about relationships, because it mutated or grew from love on from Mazirudo Monday. So we were still talking about relationships, because even then we're online, we're talking, right? We're discussing, guys, what do you think about this? Da, da, da. We came up with random topics on that day.
Yeah.
But yeah, we found a space to talk,
Yeah.
to connect,
And
and
that was-
learn.
Yeah.
Right, because that's how it came. Where people are presenting, because I didn't see that from that point of view.
Yeah.
So what it has grown into is a space where we learn through conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love saying that, because I really take pride in that.
The fact that people
People are growing and
I
learning.
think it's so dope, because you have so many different, like, you have different guests from different backgrounds coming through, sharing their 2 cents, and it's genuinely just a great experience, and it's now sort of grown into more than just a Wednesday thing. I know from time to time there's socials on Fridays as well,
yeah.
but not just that. There's also now a full-on podcast as well. That's come out of Love on a Wednesday. But I'm gonna touch on that just now, because sort of this is also just, to me, it's showing that there's this part of your desire to connect and talk to people. There's also a desire to work and engage with other people.
Yeah.
And I think just even as we were like sort of preparing for today, and just when we're just like, talking just in general, there was a whole chat about sort of Liyon Media, which is something that you and your friends and sort of have started together. and I was having a conversation with one of my friends.
Yeah.
She hasn't come on the podcast yet, but she's gonna come through.
Yeah.
And it was a conversation I also had with my parents about
Mm.
how important it is today to work together as people to make things happen.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
today more than ever we need, and I think there's a big thing, especially in Zimbabwe. I can't speak about South Africa because that's
Yeah.
where you are sort of based at the
Yeah,
moment, right?
yeah.
But in Zim, there's a lot of, if we're in the same space, a lot of people don't want to work together because they worry that you'll outdo me or I won't go as high as I can.
Yeah.
Whereas if we actually work together, we pull more resources. we
Collaboration
pull-
is essential, guys.
it's mad. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So for you,
Mm.
with Liyon Media and your desire to work with people and communicate and sort of connect with people,
Yeah.
how have you done that with Liyon Media? Like, could you
Yeah.
just explain a bit about what exactly is Liyon Media and how have you managed to merge all those things together?
All right. Thanks. I really like this question. I like talking about Liyon Media. I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah.
So Liyon Media is a platform.
Mm-hmm.
It's a platform where I get to express my creativity, my ideas, my passions, especially with regards to marketing, event coverage, content creation, curation,
Yeah.
strategy, branding. Because I've learned that I'm a brand enthusiast.
Yeah.
So yeah, Liyon Media is a platform. It grew from my passion for photography, right? I'm very sentimental in my persona, in my character. I connect with things. So it was a matter of documenting my events, experiences at the beginning of my university career,
Yeah.
time, whatever. On one of my birthdays, I got a DSLR. No, it was a compact camera
Yeah.
as a birthday gift. So I
Yeah.
took that everywhere.
And like, let's go.
Let's go.
And they could pizza in. Let's go. Let's go to pizza in. You're there.
Right.
Okay. Today's Terrific Tuesday. Picture of Terrific.
Right.
Yeah.
So starting uni, it was I'm a storyteller, guys. So if I'm answering questions, there's usually a story that's gonna come in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, starting uni at res events,
Yeah.
we would.
They knew Godfrey was there with his
Godfrey and
the
his camera. I became the camera guy, right? So
you're probably invited to like events just because it's like, no, we need someone. Godfrey's got a camera though. Don't worry.
Yep.
Okay, fine. But was he gonna? Don't worry, bro. You'll bring the item.
my God, and for real, you could bet on it that if I'm
Yeah.
attending, I've got my camera. So
Yeah.
your photography is sorted. I didn't mind that because for me it was a passion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't want to give the whole story because it might take long. But I think even just my knack for event photography, because that's my forte, it grew from that, where I'm connecting with people, connecting with an experience, and being able to do that through media outlets, which is the photography, right? Through mediums or a medium.
Yeah.
So it was Liyon Pictures initially,
Yeah.
right? Because that's all I did. Like, hey, I've got my camera, I've got my
Sorry,
vibes.
and why Lion? Because your Lion is not like, and it's not spelled like it's Liyon.
Yeah.
Like,
Guys, because the why matters. I mean, why not? Right?
I was really telling you, I was like, there's a guy. In fact, yeah, you guys remember Gui? Guinyai once said, because he was sharing about something, and he goes, yeah, Guinyai in the why, because the why in what you do matters. And I was like, yes.
Yeah,
That
why
sounds
not?
like
It's a bit of Liyon, Liyon, is it's a bit of homage to my family, my upbringing. So if you are Shona or Zimbabwean, you might be familiar with the whole totem thing.
Yeah.
So it's
Shumba.
Tirana Shumba.
So Shumba is Lion in
Lion,
in-
yeah.
in
So
Shona.
Lion.
Yeah.
So I was like, Liyon Media sounds so nice, right?
But it's probably taken, wasn't it?
No, so it was it was taken. So
Yeah.
I mean, when you create accounts, because that's when I was now creating a Facebook page.
Yeah.
I typed in Lion Media.
Yeah.
Username. Sorry. So I was like, why not add a Y? Literally. I mean, there was Liyon Media, there was Liyon Matches. You guys, some of you in Zimbabwe, you know there's Liyon Matches.
we know.
There's Liyon everything.
Yeah.
And also so apart from that, just the homage to my family and who I am and stuff. just also, I'm big on symbolism as well. Just like from just my reflection and introspection, I've just realized symbolism means a lot to me. So a lion represents nobility, royalty.
Lion
of Judah,
we worship you.
Lion of Judah,
Lion of Judah, you are holy.
I'm here for it. I'm here for
I
it.
love it.
So yeah, I was like, okay, there's this stateliness about a lion,
Yeah.
and of course, even then, I was starting to get an idea of branding.
Mm-hmm.
Lion just sounded so good. I could present
Yeah.
it to anyone and
Yeah.
sell it.
Yeah.
Hi, hey, I'm representing Lion Media as the photographer.
And it sounds a bit commanding as
Eh,
well.
yeah,
definitely.
like, in a
Yeah.
presence.
Yeah, I watch you. Yeah, for
Tashika,
real.
Wegu
Yeah.
Lion Washika, guys.
Yeah. We're out here. We out here.
Yeah, so that's how Lion Pictures became a thing. And of
Yeah.
course, when I realized that I've got a DSLR that can do a lot, I can do photography and hey, I can also do videography. I ended up doing videography work when I partnered with a friend of mine named Mudiwa. Brilliant gent. He was he had his own YouTube channel,
Yeah.
flourishing, and so we were also at the same uni. I shot my shot. I was like, sir, I like what you're doing. Let's work together.
And he's like, cool.
And he's like, cool. And
Yeah.
so that's how it happened.
And he
where-
went from photography
to media to accommodate the videography.
Yeah.
And he also does videography, editing. So together we became Lion Media. And
Yeah.
we did the works, guys.
Yeah.
Shame.
Nah,
Because we were in a small town. So
which time were you?
Grahamstown, which is now called Makanda.
Changed name? When?
Yeah, last year, 2 years ago.
Really?
Mm.
Didn't know.
So yeah,
So
so
what, you had Rhodes for university?
yeah, so that's where I started my uni years, my tertiary education
Okay.
at Rhodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it was great. I think just now looking at where we are now, because it's just encompassed all these things. Mudiwa, he doubles and triples up as a writer.
Yeah.
So he's a videographer, editor, writer, producer, director.
Jeez, he does a bit
Right.
of everything.
He does a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Because it's a platform.
Yeah,
Remember, when you
yeah.
have the platform, you can then express yourself and really just show out.
Yeah.
So he also does radio, podcasting.
Sure.
So,
So what else? So I mean, obviously
Yeah.
we've heard that there's video, there's photography, but what else is underlying? Because
Yeah.
from the way it sounds, I'm like, yo, right? Like
it's
jeez.
a conglomerate.
Come on.
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, we've got a lot. So it's Lion Media is the brand.
Uh-huh.
So under Lion Media, there's the photography, there's the videography, editing, designing. So we do, any content creation with that carries a purpose. Again, whether it's to educate, inform, entertainment, marketing.
Yeah.
That's what we do with the content creation.
Okay.
We also then started a podcast. So the Love on a podcast, which actually isn't directly related to Love on a Wednesday,
Okay.
is under Lion Media.
All right.
So Lion Media does audio production now,
Okay.
which is through the Love on a podcast. We're also gonna have Lion's Den, which is a podcast. So if some of you may be familiar with some of the tech gurus on YouTube, such as MKBHD,
Yeah.
Unbox Therapy,
Dave 2D.
2D.
What's his name? Ali, who's the boss? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
There's
so-
quite a lot. Yeah.
So our vision is to try to localize such content. So
I'm
everyone
for it, bro.
everyone looks up to these guys who are in America,
And they
Australia.
do like a great job.
They do a
And-
great job,
yeah.
but imagine getting a review on a Huawei, right, from an African in Africa, giving you context to how it works with the network that's trippy in
yeah.
Zimbabwe. So
'cause
localizing.
It reminds me of something
yeah.
when BlackBerry sort of started in that BBM and everything like that. But
Yes.
there's certain features on BlackBerry that weren't available in Africa.
Yeah.
Even though they were available in. So you'd watch all these tech reviews and like BlackBerry's the best thing ever. Then
But
you
I
get it
can't
again,
do
you're like,
this.
but I can't do what people in Canada doing, people in
Yes.
America doing.
So so Lion's Den, we're gonna be. We've already pre-recorded most of the first season.
Yeah.
So it's very very exciting. And soon Love on a Podcast is gonna go on a break.
Yeah.
That's when we then
bring in
Lion's Den.
Lions Den, shout out.
So I'm very excited about that.
I'm here for it, man. I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
You've gotta send through the link so we can
Yeah.
have a look because That's mad exciting.
Yeah.
I
No, it's
love
very
me
exciting.
a good bit of tech,
Yeah.
information. So that's
Yeah.
really cool, man.
Yeah, man.
So
So,
even sorry,
yeah.
because you mentioned all these tech guys and stuff, and you are in the space of tech and
Yeah.
with Lions, and obviously you work with a lot of equipment.
Yeah.
From mics, different types of mics, cameras. I mean, you mentioned DSLR. For those that don't know, like there are two types of main cameras that people use, which is a mirrorless and DSLR, and the
Yeah.
DSLR one has like a glass and stuff in it. Mirrorless, so there's no glass technically system. It's very sensor based. But even with all of that being said, how did you finally decide for yourself, like, I'm gonna get into this? Because you mentioned you were in university.
Yeah.
What were you studying in university?
So I first did a degree in BCom or commercials, majoring in management and economics,
Okay.
which was great.
You made a face. And which was
It was the same.
great.
Well, let me elaborate. I think when I say it was great, I think it's because I could do it.
Yeah.
I found interest in it. It was actually really good. I mean, economics especially.
Yeah.
I really liked economics, but it showed
Boys,
me
there's supply and demand.
stars.
Yeah.
Like I saw stars, but I was very, very excited about ecos.
Yeah.
Until I mean, again, from reflection, introspection, I was like, no, this is not for me. So that happened. I dropped out, and I wasn't sure what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Took a gap year.
And you dropped it after how many years?
3 years, because when you're like repeating.
Bro, we're not almost done.
My guy, I was, and then I also wasn't, because it was complicated. Because at some point, like, if I was in third year, I'd have some modules from like first year or
That you had to
second.
sort of-
So it wasn't really simple anymore, and it was
Yeah.
just getting more and more complicated as I was going. So I was like, no, listen, I'm out. And I think it was then where, just from that point of reflection, I'm glad I can talk about this now. It used to wreck me.
I can imagine, yeah.
That, yeah, dude, I don't know what I want to do, but I know I don't want to do this. And in the light of that, I've got to figure out what I can do, what I'm passionate about. I mean, I saw myself getting into an office, and I was like, no, Jesus didn't die for this. Because I'm a creative, I'm expressive. I mean, music is actually my first love, side note. I'm a vocalist. I sing, I write songs and stuff.
Hey,
and
boys,
so,
very quiet.
my God.
The presidential guy, yeah.
right? I
yeah.
realized that I'm expressive, and I don't see myself being in this space. But I don't know how to leave this space right now. And it seems the only way is to just jump ship.
Yeah.
From there, it was a matter of determining what do I want to do, how do I want to go there. That gap year really helped.
Yeah.
I rested. I just chilled. I also then got bored, where I'm at home, and now I'm a busybody, low-key a workaholic. I ended up just getting plugged in at church, where I served a lot in the youth ministry, in the music ministry, and sometimes in the media ministry as well. And there I found myself again, where I'm actually a teacher. Like, one of my gifts is teaching.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm a preacher, but we'll stick with teacher. I love learning.
Yeah.
I love expressing myself. I love connecting with people. Art.
So that's where you also got part of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was when, just track back a bit, it was when, so I mean, as I said earlier, I did this as a passion, as a hobby, right?
Yeah.
Until one day, Bazalwane, good people, until one day someone was like, hey, G, my birthday is coming up.
Can you come through the camera?
No, this is what they said. Like, yo, my birthday is coming. It was on a Monday.
Yeah.
Guys,
I love how you remember the day. It's
yeah.
Mondays have cheated you all, huh? Must feel like, darn it, it's a Monday. And you're like, nah, bro, let's get it. That's Mondays.
My guy, she's like, yo, G, my birthday's coming up. I want to celebrate it. We're going to have a dinner. I really would like you to be there, firstly, but also I would really like you to take pictures. And for me, guys, I'm a
You're like, bro, you said come. I'm coming.
Dandy.
I've got the camera.
That means free food.
Yeah, shout out.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's gonna say no? Who's gonna say no?
We get
good
to
vibes. Good vibes.
I mean,
the vibes,
vibes,
bro. Oh, come on.
Come
man.
on, eh?
No, eh?
Vibes happened. Food is there. And I get to take pictures because, hey, I love doing this.
Yeah.
And then she asked me a question that changed my life. It
Yeah.
also just bamboozled me, flabbergasted me.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you go?
She's like, how much will it be?
You're like,
Wait. I mean, and prior to that, I'd never charged anyone for photography. And I really
Money?
now I'm thinking to myself, I remember this is on a Monday. I said to her, listen, I'll get back to you. Did I not spend
you know
the
what? Here's the thing, right? Is so like obviously like I've also got into like media related stuff,
Yeah.
and someone once asked me, so how much is it to do this? And I was like, I don't know. You know, like your first response is like, I don't know. Let me get back to you tomorrow. Hey, Ningi, I know you do this. How much do you think I should
My
charge?
guy, so
Yeah.
I glitched, system malfunction. Yeah, it was now a matter of determining my value, and hopefully matching what she valued in me coming on and doing this work.
Yeah.
But also it really blessed me. Hey, someone actually likes my images, and they like them enough to pay for them. So that's kind of how this journey has taken on. This was at Rhodes, in Grahamstown, right, this small
Yeah.
town. So much that I took from it, except a degree. Yeah, I'm shooting myself.
Oh,
No, for
wow.
real. Like
Yeah.
I really found myself in that place. It's very
Yeah.
special to me.
And then how much this question really had you thinking, oh, I could be serious about this.
I could be serious about this,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is, again, you're in uni, you're dependent, right, on your parents.
You
or
could do the extra money.
Extra-
like that your parents don't know about? Come on. Come on.
And the thing is, it was funny, side note. It was funny when my mom was like, these days you don't really ask me for money. What's
Is
going
everything
on?
okay?
It's like, don't worry.
It's okay.
It's okay. But it was nice, man. I think so.
Yeah.
Just growing from that experience where I can commercialize my trade, it taught me a lot because,
Yeah.
dude, I mean, a lot of the times as well, you feel like you're undervaluing yourself.
I think especially when you start off, that can be like a big thing. Hey, like for you, how did you? Because I know you said that you asked people and everything, but how did you make sure that you were not undervaluing, but also at the same time you're charging, knowing that you're entering the field as well? How
Yeah.
did you do that?
It's been a process. Let me just take a sip of this. We need sponsorships.
Come on now. I actually am a big fan of my hill. So Shumba, if you really are out here,
I don't know. Is this an audio version of this, right?
yes, it's both
So if
audio and visual.
I'm just having a sip of Shumba Mahil, guys.
Come now.
You should watch the video if you're going to miss this. Anyway, pricing, it's been a journey.
Yeah.
We celebrated when we got to a stage where we could put our prices on the website. There wasn't any more DM for prices. There's a stigma for that, and I understand it. As a consumer or the buyer, it's very frustrating. I mean, look, I want to buy from you. Just tell me your price, and then if I have the money, I'll buy it.
I'm 100%
Right.
the person who gets frustrated by that.
Right.
Like,
So as a buyer, it makes sense
Yeah.
that, dude, just tell me how much it is, or just show me a price. If I can afford it, I'll buy.
There was a meme
Whereas,
that sort of there was a meme that I saw a few
Yeah.
weeks ago that said Anzi, where they were like, to everyone who puts all businesses who put their prices on their Instagram pages or whatever page, may God bless you, may have a fruitful week. To those that don't, yeah. And I was like, no, guys.
yeah. So on the flip side, it's a frustration, but
Yeah.
on the seller's side, it makes sense. You're still figuring yourself. You're still finding your feet. Where it depends what the work is, the client, circumstances, costs, and whatever. So you're constantly adjusting until you find your space.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a journey. I mean, we started off entry level. I mean, you get entry level pricing for everything.
Yeah.
Like if it's a new phone, new gadget,
Yeah.
and when it grows in its rapport, you start getting to premium pricing. So we started off entry level where people didn't know us.
Yeah.
And so even when I then determined that price, remember it was a Monday, did a bit of research. Okay, people generally price here. And you also do a bit of a reflection and you compare. Like, shucks.
You also have to see your own quality as well.
Exactly. And you have to be honest.
Even if beginners are saying like $50, you can't be saying $50 when you know your work is like 45. You've got to be fair with yourself and
Yes.
the client as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So I definitely marked myself down with, I think at that time, it was an hourly rate of like 150. rands in that small town, small market.
150 rand is approximately $10.
$10 an hour, right? And most people at that time were doing 200, 250, and the premium pricing was like 300, 350.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm starting out. Nah, bro.
Yeah.
Cool. And over the years, we got to premium pricing, and people were willing to pay.
Because they like the content.
They like the content, we built our rapport, and we got to a fixed price where if you're doing anything with Liyon Media, you gotta do this. We had a floor even, right?
Yeah.
Nothing less than whichever,
and whatever it is,
right?
You go up. Yeah.
So of course, still then it was still contact us for pricing, for quotes and whatever. Then life happened, and then eventually I moved, and then I found myself fast forward to Gauteng, where I'm now in Pretoria. Mudiwa had also then moved to Joburg.
Yeah.
Now we're in this big pool. We're the small fish now, because by the time we
establish yourself again,
right?
Yeah.
So by the time we left
and
Wakanda,
did that sort of even because part of it for me then thinks that it's easy to get comfortable in a place.
Yeah.
So I think these guys, and there's this YouTube page, and their theme is, I think it's Yes Theory. The theme is seek discomfort, right?
Yeah.
And it seems like you've done quite a lot of that in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, you started a degree, you left sort of halfway through, you left a city, came back home, take a gap year, and then you're like, okay, fine, let me go back into this thing and everything. But in the whole process of seeking discomfort and just trying to find you and moving, were there ever moments of, especially and particularly to sort of with Liyon Media, where you're going from
a small
town going to Pretoria, to Johannesburg is huge,
guys.
You know what I mean? There's so many people.
Big city life.
There's genuinely people doing the same thing there. Was there a moment where you yourself were like, this is a mistake?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a mistake per se, but
moments of doubt.
I think moments of doubt, moments of fear.
Yeah.
Just shucks, can I do this?
Yeah.
Right. Where you're being real, right? I mean, I'm quite the ambitious young man. I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a visionary.
Yeah.
Joseph is my friend.
Hey, come on.
Joseph the dreamer.
Jose. Come on, Jose.
I really resonate. Side note, I really resonate with Joseph's story in the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm a dreamer. I see things, and so even when I do collaborations, you'll find a lot of times I come with the idea, bro, this is pretty dope. Are you keen? Let's dance. Because then a lot of the time you find people then action these things. But so this thing where I don't think my dreams ever get the light of the brightness of my dream never gets dim.
Yeah.
I don't think. Although maybe it's now a bit of a fear that shucks.
There are moments of sort of, and I would like to say Joseph was such a good example where you could be like, this is great, and you find yourself now you're in
jail.
Potiphar's house.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. Then you find yourself in jail. You're like, oh my goodness gracious me.
Right.
Then you have moments of, oh my gosh, I was sold, but now I'm working here, and it's like definitely those.
Yeah. So you get the bright lights, and then you get the moments when you're in the pits, literally, like with Joseph, like he was.
Like, whoa.
Right. So I think I found myself in a pit momentarily, where I'm in this big city. I have no idea what the market is like. I have no idea what the clientele is like. It was a mess.
Yeah.
And I was doubting a lot. I was questioning a lot of things. But again, with support, research, application, we came right. And we eventually worked towards, bro, Mudeo and I discussing, bro, this is it. We're here now. We're in a big pool. We're the small fish. But we got to grow.
Yeah.
Right? So let's go.
Yeah.
And this is it. Come rain, come thunder, if we do any work, if literally a shutter is pressed, we should make this much money. Yeah. Because this is what makes sense. Costs, traveling, because it's the bigger city. So stuff like that. You also then grow in your confidence where when you're starting out, you kind of, I don't want to say desperate, but you definitely long to make traction and make a name for yourself. So you're kind of taking anything.
Yeah.
You're compromising, you're meeting halfway, whatever. And then you get to a place like, nah, man.
I can't do this for too much
longer. Also, guys, by that time, bro, like right now I feel so proud saying this. I've got almost 10 years in the game now.
Come on.
So that speaks for worth and value. Like, hey, I've seen things, I've done things, I've accomplished things. So if I present this prize to you, you've also come to me for a reason,
Yeah, because you've seen sort of my track record.
right?
And you saying 10 years also has me a bit interested because you said that, so we know that you haven't, or rather you didn't graduate.
Yeah.
You did BCom, but you got, I'm sure lots of lessons you learned there
Yeah.
with your business and stuff, which is great. Because as much as anyone can be a creative or in any space, being a doctor, a physicist, being anything, you need to have some sort of business knowledge, you know what I mean? To know how to conduct, not only if you want to have your own operation, but also to your own life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with that being said, how have you made sure you continue learning? What process is sort of in terms of education? Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm not going to go to university because I want to do this, but you still have to learn stuff to do what you want to do.
Yeah.
So what have you done to ensure that, okay, fine, yes, there's Liyon Media, there's this, there's that, but I need to keep growing and learning? How have you sort of...
I would like to give a shout-outs to Professor YouTube and Dr. Google It.
The realest ones out
right?
there.
For real, like that's where it started for me. I had no clue how to operate a camera. I mean, my first experience with the DSLR was in 2013, and I was on the go, literally thrown into the pool because I joined the basketball team when I was in university,
boys,
right?
Sports.
Yeah, I'm very sporty and stuff, but I didn't make the cut to play. So I was like, I want to get involved somehow.
Yeah.
So let me do their coverage because events.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Right.
And you're always there with the camera.
I had been used to my compact camera, right? It was a BenQ digital camera. That's the one I wanted to say. It was a digital camera, literally point and shoot. Now, hey Godfrey, the team is playing tomorrow. Use the sports campus camera. I'm like, okay, great.
And you can't just point and shoot.
You can't point and shoot a DSLR.
Action, yeah.
So on the go, I mean, at some point I was just literally Google, what must I do? Google it. So yeah, I learned a lot on the job with just that. Where, yeah, bro, Doc G came through, Prof Y came through, right? And then so 4 years up the line, I then did a professional qualification where I went to school where I'd been doing this, but I want to know more. I want to consolidate it and just become more professional. And it was also great to say, listen, I've been doing this for 5 years, but also here's a paper. Yeah. Here's a qualification.
Here's to sort of show you. So it's like I've got experience, but also just to help give you confidence. Because I know what I'm doing, but also help give confidence.
Plus also the vision there was also, because now I'm in Gauteng, if you want to deal with corporates, they want to see a paper a lot of the times. Yeah. Unless you are this very experienced and exceptional photographer that has done hectic stuff. Then they're more. But I was not known, even though I have got 5 years. I need to prove it. Yeah. So yeah. So I've definitely still been learning. I mean, I engage a lot of other creatives that do similar work with me. I've also been working on getting a mentor. So you have to keep learning, guys. Like, I mean, camera technology is changing as well. Now, as Marco said, there are different types of cameras. Yeah. So, I mean, once upon a time, we all used film. I actually used the film camera once upon a time. Some of you that are still babies don't know what film cameras are.
You can YouTube to see what film cameras look like, you know?
Right.
Yeah. Back in the Kodak days.
Right. And so when digital came, DSLRs, we all had to learn what digital can do and how it works. But now there's mirrorless, and Lord knows what else is going to come. So things are always changing. So for you to be apt, you have to learn. And I love learning. I'm low-key a geek. So I think me getting better at my trade has come from being willing to learn.
Yeah. And you even mentioned collaborations. How big a role have collaborations been? Because, like I think we said earlier, there's a lot of, I'm going to do my own thing. And how big have collaborations been for you? I mean, obviously, you mentioned that starting together with Liwa and everyone else. But even in terms, I think one of the big questions, even for sort of, is, I think it's easy to see someone vlogging and saying, oh, it's just them and their phone. Yeah. But chances are, if you want a good vlog that's shot in full HD or in 4K, we're talking about Note 20 Ultras. We're talking about
iPhone
your iPhone 13 Pro Plus. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about, even if it's a camera, we're talking about some of your very best cameras. And we're talking north of a K US dollars. You know, how did you sort of go from? Okay, I mean, obviously, I think you mentioned that your parents got you a camera, but building up, how have you done those collaborations?
So collaboration, funny enough, I can actually apply it even to my parents. I feel like they've collaborated with me, which is really great. And this comes in the form of partnership or support.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm, like I said, at that point, I'm dependent. I don't earn money apart from the side hustles and whatever. So to buy a camera was beyond me.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So it's like, guys, this is my plan. Can you help me?
That's
Literally.
good.
And
Yeah.
you got to humble yourself to get to that point where I've got a vision. I can't do it on my own.
Yeah.
I need your help. So yeah, they did. They pulled through, got me a new laptop. They got me a new camera. Obviously, this was spaced out because this stuff is expensive. But just that blessing of just, hey, someone sees what I'm trying to do and get me somewhere. So that happened. And so I've just built on that through collaboration, as you've said, that when you see that, like with Mudiwa, Mudiwa is good at this, and I'm not as good at that. Mudiwa has this, I don't have that. We've learned to be resourceful as well, so that's another thing. Start with what you have and grow.
I think even a good point is don't wait to have everything.
Yes.
That's been one of the biggest things that I myself have been learning is if you say I'm only going to start once I have a MacBook Pro with an M1 chip, I'm only going to start once I have a Sony, like I have a G7 camera.
Yeah.
I'm only going to start once, you know, I've got an iPhone 13 Pro. Once I have a gimbal so that I can do my image stabilization well. I'm only going to start once I've got all the lighting I need. You will not actually start. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's so useful to collaborate with people where you determine what you have, what you're good at, what you don't have. You also got to be honest about that. What you're not good at.
Yeah.
And
bring different things to the table. Yeah.
Bring different things to the table. Be functional. Be resourceful. I know when we started, guys, the things we were achieving, I kid you not, one of my most exciting moments in my career, guys, it was Mudiwa and I, the two of us, running things, doing the works, just really enjoying ourselves, experiencing our trade and growing in our trade, where we had people thinking that we're like a 10-man team.
And it's two people.
Two people.
Because you're literally like, because you could be there like, I've got lights, you've got mics, let's go. So, but you've got 5 and you've got 5. So it's like, oh my gosh, how did they have all these? And you're like, bro, listen.
You learn to be resourceful. Collaboration really helped us as well. So, especially with events where 2 cameras weren't enough, because I had 1 camera, Mudiwa had 1 camera. Sometimes we had to do videography. We'd have a dedicated photography camera, a dedicated video camera, and then maybe another one for roaming.
Angles and stuff,
So we had to collaborate people. Pixelate Media was really, really great. That's shout out to Tino. Lex as well, super great dude. He's a dope photographer. So I could then dedicate, if Mudiwa needed more help with videography,
You need help with that.
right? So collaboration really helped us. Where bigger projects, you need more equipment. So, and then also even with costs, right? So apart from Liyon Media, I've Lord set this up, to be honest. I've got friends. We used to go to church together, and we started talking about media stuff. It's like, guys, let's bring our expertise together and start something, right? And this was great. Firstly, just bringing different skills together. So I'm obviously more apt in photography, content creation, and a bit of the directing. And the other guy does graphics. The other guy does editing. The lady does administration. She also does a bit of directing as well. So we brought it all together. And with these skills coming together, we've started something totally different to Liyon Media. So even I get to express different facets of creativity
in different ways.
Through this entity called Muno. Muno Media. Just in my individuality, but also even the resources we pulled together in Muno can also be pulled, to Liyon Media. You can have cross pollination or whatever, where certain projects for Muno that need more stuff we can get from Liyon,
I think obviously like there's a lot of things that are involved in all of this, and what I want to ask you, especially for the sake of anyone who's like, okay, I want to get into content creation, or who's like, I want to, maybe not as a professional thing, for example, but maybe some people are like, hey, I like making videos for me and my friend.
Yeah.
You know, I like to create certain content for like church
Yeah.
or for my business or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I think one of the biggest blessings and tools that I think I use, and I know you use as well, and a lot of people use, is Canva, which is, and this is not a paid promo or anything, but Canva, if you're listening and you want to give a boy a shout out, just hit me up, bro, hit me up. But Canva, for me, I even have to use the pro account now.
Yeah.
How useful have you found the tech or media space
Or software and all
yeah,
that.
and software? How useful have you found them in helping people edit and become a part of the community?
Yeah. So I'll present another analogy because teaching that way is more exciting.
Yeah.
Think of it as think of editing tools, resources as a vehicle. All right. A vehicle gets you from point A to point B. Where you're going determines the type of vehicle that is needed.
Yeah.
Right. You're considering speed, power, functions. So it's the same with creativity. It's the same with content creation. What are you trying to achieve? Different hardware, which includes the laptops, the cameras, if you're creating content through cameras, if you're creating content through the laptops, all these hardware, different hardware would achieve different results.
Yeah.
So you got to be determining what are you trying to do.
Yeah.
I know that there are cameras that are specific for wildlife.
Yeah.
Cameras that are specific. So wildlife
nature
content.
shots.
Yeah, nature shots.
Nature shots and wildlife shots can also be very different because some are taking flowers, others are taking like animals. Then action lenses, then still
Right.
images.
Then you're also going to take pictures. You're also going to take events. You're also going to take food. You're also going to do fashion. You're also going to do portraiture. I'm giving you photography genres, for example. So if you determine what the purpose is, it guides and informs your decision on how you are going to create it. So be sure about that. What kind of content are you trying to create?
Then you know what software to use.
Then you know what software to use because different software does different functions. Canva is really, really good for people that are starting out. I mean, their free version is exceptional.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best free versions of anything I've seen for people starting out in the general space of content creation.
So you know that I want to create content for this. You also, again, when you're starting out, you probably don't have enough resources, and money is part of those resources. So you can't afford to be paying for subscriptions and all of that. Then you determine that this resource will work for me at this stage in my career.
Then when I can, pro version. When I can, different.
You know, so I mean, with so I'm primarily a photographer, even though I can do videography, even though I can do graphic designing, even though I can do curation and social media management, right? Photography is my baby, my boo.
Your boo thing.
Right? So with photography, I use Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom, the Adobe suite. You guys know, a lot of you who are scholars, there's the PDF one. What is it? Reader, Adobe Reader. Right? But there's more to Adobe than the Reader.
Than just the Reader, yeah.
Right, so there's Adobe Lightroom, there's Adobe Premiere Pro, there's Photoshop, InDesign.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Publisher.
There's quite a lot.
There are quite a few. So the suite is quite expansive. So I use Lightroom for my editing. I can use Photoshop, but I barely use it.
Yeah.
Right. So for my videos, I use a MacBook. So with Mac, there's the in-house or built-in video editor, which is iMovie, or you can get the Pro version, which is Final Cut.
Yo,
right. So, and these are all very different apps that do different things, even though the main thing is to edit. Right.
Yeah.
So you always need to I know that with my podcast, for example, or any other video content I've done, certain videos go with certain
things better.
Certain apps better. Editing certain videos is better or optimized in certain apps. So again, what are you trying to achieve? How can you get there? Then you determine that this app, this software, this hardware will get me. So lastly then, content creation. What kind of content do you want to create? Why do you want to create that content? And then you determine how. Keeping note of the three factors, which is the software, the hardware, and the time, the means.
I think just So those are some pretty good tips there, and I think just sort of the last thing that I'd just like to ask as well, and just sort of like in closing as well, is just you've mentioned how we know you live in Pretoria, but you're a people person, and your parents have been a big help and support for you. It's just sort of like a sort of when you had to go through the process of leaving from your BCom to doing what you're doing now, and also just the fact that you're away from home.
Yeah.
How has that been for you? Because you couldn't necessarily be close to your family, and also in the earlier part, sort of you needed your family a lot, and that was a fair bit challenging.
Yeah.
How was that?
So I've been through it, man. Just moments of sadness, despair, discouragement, disappointment, worry, anxiety.
Yeah.
But yo, man, God is. I'm a Christian. I identify as a Christian, and
I mean, I think at this point, I'm sure people have sort of picked up on it. At this point,
right?
But
Well, I mean, if you didn't, I'm a Christian, and faith, belief, trust in the Lord is everything to me. It's carried me through the most, and I'm so grateful for a lot. And as I can speak retrospectively of this now, but at some point I realized something that was a revelation even, or revelation, epiphany, that I'm living out another one of my names, right? My first name. Godfrey means God's peace.
Shout out.
Or peace of God. It has German origin. Right?
Yeah.
And it's
Guten Tag.
right. It's when you look back, like, shucks, guys, I've been through it, but here I am, and I mean, how did I get through that? Right, staying sane, right,
bro.
staying sane, staying composed, and it's just God has been with me, and His peace has been with me. Where I'd be concerned about what I want to do and how I want to get there, and it's not happening. So I've really experienced God's peace. But also even then, when there's a thing that I learned about, I'm also very big on definitions as a teacher. So there's a thing about being alone and loneliness. So I've learned the difference, that if I'm away from family where I want to be, if I'm away from certain opportunities that I want to see, that rhymed, I'm not alone. I may feel lonely, but I'm not alone.
For sure.
God is with me. And fortunately, we can also be grateful for technology, right? Staying in touch. So that's how I've managed, where I'm big on, as I said, I'm big on relationships, I'm big on community, and I really have stayed connected, even if it's one person, where I'm not feeling lonely. Because I feel like it's scary to be lonely.
Because you can be alone, but not lonely. I get that.
Do you get what I'm saying?
You can also be around people and still be lonely, and I've experienced that before, so I understand what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I found comfort, and I think this may have been a bit of... I mean, finding a balance, this is the last thing I'll say, finding a balance has been a work in progress, where you almost immerse yourself in work to kind of cope, right? So you kind of fool yourself that it's a healthy coping mechanism.
When it's not.
When it's not.
When it's really not.
But I think also just I've then managed to achieve quite a lot because I'm so invested in something as I'm trying to deal and cope with this loneliness. So that's kind of where I found myself. I've experienced God's peace. I've learned a lot through just immersing myself.
Out the name Tafadzwa.
Right.
Trying to share the joy and happiness.
So
Oh, shout out, guys. But thank you so much for coming through today. Loving a podcast. You're now on YouTube, yes?
Yeah, so Loving a Podcast has an audio and video interface. So you guys can check it out. So audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts.
Wherever find a podcast, you'll find a podcast.
And then video, there are 3 platforms: YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So Facebook, there's a page, Love on a Podcast. You see the video section there. Instagram, IGTV.
Okay, cool. No, we'll definitely put a couple things there. Probably put a couple of suggestions to either the channel or a video or 2. Yeah, thank you so much for coming through, Godfrey. It's
Thank
been
you so
an
much for
absolute
having me,
pleasure.
man. Yeah.
Again, guys, if you want to follow the Middle of Podcast, tmiddleopodast on Instagram. If you want to follow me, Marco_Cads, do you want to share your own socials?
Yeah, my personal socials.
Yeah.
It's at Godfrey Tuffy on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The
Okay,
Bird
and
app.
how do you spell that?
At Godfrey Tuffy, GODFREYTAFI.
Okay.
At Godfrey Tuffy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
literally,
shout
if you type at Godfrey Tuffy, if you ask
You'll
Google to where I'm
find-
at, she'll direct you.
Shout out. But yeah, thank you so much for coming through.
No, man.
Thank you for everyone who's been watching, who's been listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Cheers.